Future of work. Not the ones you might expect. We usually look for ingenuity, creativity, expressiveness, communication. It's as much an emotional relationship as it is a skill-based relationship. And so finding people that are going to be able to work in really fast-paced environments on the cutting edge of new technologies is really, really important. It would be Can I Kick It by A Tribe Called Quest. I think we're going to keep doing what we're really good at, meaning recruiting amazing top talent in Sri Lanka and finding incredible clients all around the world, but we're also going to be investing in things like upskilling, education, even philanthropy and charitable causes to give back to Sri Lanka, and that's going to become an increasing part of what we do here. The idea started really at the beginning of the pandemic. I think a lot of us both participated in and felt a shift in how teams worked around the world, how business was getting done. Mainly, nobody was going into the office, everything was remote. And once everything is remote in your own country, it suddenly becomes more acceptable for it to be remote around the world. I, in a previous role, had worked with a number of folks in Sri Lanka, was really impressed with the talent pool here, kept having friends ask me, hey, can I hire someone from there? Like, this seems incredible. Like, your people are amazing. Can they come work for me? So once I saw that, okay, probably more people are going to be interested in this as the world shifts to a more remote friendly environment. And also, I know of an incredible talent pool where people are really highly skilled, educated, talented, motivated. Why don't I connect the two? The biggest issue was if you're dealing with really career-oriented, driven professionals, it's very difficult to get them to be a contract worker for someone abroad or for a startup they don't know about. There's a lot of insecurity in that role. What we wanted to do with Oceans was set up a company that would hire those people, connect them with those opportunities, but also give them the benefits that they're used to. They wouldn't have to give up the comforts that they had built in their careers in Sri Lanka, but would still get access to those opportunities around the world. The talent pool that exists here is way more motivated and ambitious and eager than a lot of the people we would even hire in New York. And so when people work with us to find talent here, they're not just looking for expanding a team globally. They're looking for the most motivated people, the most hungry, highly skilled, ambitious contributors they can find all over the world. And my experience is that those people can be found here. That's why we started the company. That's what my experience continues to be. The vision I have for Oceans is really, of course, what is tied to our central mission, all about connecting incredible companies with top talent all around the globe. I think the way that Sri Lanka can play into that is just to continue doing what they're doing, if not embrace even more the opportunities that we are providing and be more interested in working in startup environments versus more traditional companies, lean more heavily into upskilling, tooling, learning new technologies and skills to make their work better. If we didn't have access to the incredible talent pool we have here, we would not be nearly as successful as we are today. Yeah, so we have a lot that we try to do and provide to everyone. First is remote work, especially during the pandemic. Everyone was working remotely. The pandemic sort of ended-ish, and people were asked to go back to the office. A lot of the people that we hired early on in the career, in the life cycle of the company, was because people didn't want to go back to the office. They were new mothers, they wanted flexibility, they wanted options in how they worked and when they worked. We were able to provide that for them. Though we get together often, we're a fully remote company, and we're going to continue to operate that way in the future. Another benefit is we pay in dollars, which, with the currency fluctuations that the rupee is seeing, up, down, all over the place, inflation, all these other factors, being able to pay in dollars for everyone that works for Oceans, I think is a huge benefit. We also, of course, provide everything from health insurance to wellness programs, exercise, mental health, and also community. I think we have a ton of like-minded people that are the same age, that are interested in similar things, that are able to discover with each other, what it's like when you leave Colombo and you start to see and work with companies all over the world. And that's a really exciting experience. And having a community to share that with is actually not a monetary benefit, but I think it creates a lot of joy in their lives. A big one is obviously global exposure. The opportunities that we have, the companies that we work with, even I sometimes am like, man, if I wasn't doing this, I'd want to be doing that. Like, that's so cool. I can't believe I get to work with this AI startup or this professional athlete or this like celebrity or this real estate magnate or whatever it is. We have an incredibly diverse array of clients all over the world: US, UK, Japan, Australia, New Zealand, Canada, the Netherlands, you name it. And they're all doing amazing things. And when you join Oceans, that's the pool of opportunities you get to tap into. And over your career with Oceans, you can tap into more than one, which is a really cool way to, especially if you're early or mid in your career, understand what your passions are, what kind of industries you're interested in, and most importantly, how companies operate all around the world. I think, by a lot of measures, Sri Lanka's companies are still a little bit more traditional than some of the companies in the West, in the US and other places. And getting exposure to how those companies operate and then taking that knowledge and bringing it back here is a really powerful opportunity for people. We don't want to call everyone that works at Oceans an employee or a workforce or whatever. There's a motif around the company that we built. So Oceans is obviously the brand, and it is the brand because it is the one thing that connects us all, touches everything all around the world. Early on in the life cycle of the company, we decided we just wanted to have different oceans related things that we called everything because we wanted to be a fun work culture, but also something to be proud of, something that's unique. So if you are an oceans diver, you are a member of a elite group of people that is working with some of the most cutting edge companies around the world because you joined Oceans. So we call our team that is embedded with clients divers. Diving in, diving under, there's a lot you can do with it. There's always going to be people who want to work with our divers, who want to work with the top 1% of skilled global talent. That's not the biggest concern. We also want to make sure that our divers, the people that work at Oceans, the people that are getting up every day and getting engaged and excited to do the work with their client, are happy and interested in the industries that they are getting exposure to. Along that vein, it's sort of two things. We really spend a lot of time getting to work with, understand, do a deep dive into the client needs. What are their requirements? What's their culture like? Are they really interested in working with someone for the long term or just the short term? And most importantly, are they going to treat our divers like a member of their team? And a great example of this is, if it's your diver's birthday, are you going to call them, celebrate, give them a cake like you would with your normal team members or not? So we're only looking to work with clients that are interested in having this talent that they work with through Oceans be fully embedded into their team. A lot of our clients fly their divers to offsites. They take them to New York or Miami or Los Angeles to meet the team and participate. That's what we're looking for. On the diver side, we want to understand obviously what their skill set is, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, what type of environment they're going to thrive in. We never want to be putting someone in a situation where they're not going to be successful, which means knowing in advance, hey, this person might not do so well in an environment where their executive is moving 1,000 miles a minute and maybe their internal tempo is a bit lower. So we do a lot of that qualitative work. We also want to understand what they're interested in. Are you interested in sustainability or fashion or food or AI or whatever it is? And do our best to match our divers with those opportunities and those client sets. We have such a diverse array of clients that we can actually tap into almost any industry that people are interested in. It's already starting to have an impact. I think certainly for startups in the US, for a lot of our clientele, when they were talking about global talent or when they were talking about hiring people from all around the world, they would typically view it as a short-term, project-based kind of approach where you could bring someone on to get a PowerPoint done or design a landing page or something like that. I think the biggest shift And the contribution Sri Lankan talent is making to that is helping people understand, wow, there's really highly skilled people all over the world, and they can be full-time members of my team. Now I can construct my whole business around this opportunity. I can construct my whole P&L. I construct how I see my company growing into the future around the idea that I can have a huge portion of my highly skilled team be in Sri Lanka or wherever, not in the US. And the truth is, Americans in particular are pretty arrogant, and they think, if you're not in New York, or if you're not in San Francisco, or if you're not in LA, how could you possibly be like a skilled, smart worker? Obviously, that's ridiculous. We're seeing a huge shift away from that, and I think how companies construct their teams in the future is going to be inspired by the interactions they're having with our divers, with Oceans, and what they're seeing is possible because of us. Our growth is only accelerating. We're less than 2 years old. We now have 250 people. Almost all of them are here in Colombo. A couple in Kandy as well, and some scattered all about. I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. I think it's pretty telling that we're just seeing more and more demand in the US, in the UK, and in hubs where our clients operate for working with people from Sri Lanka. We need to pick up on recruiting more and more people to meet that demand, but there's definitely an appetite for this all around the world. And so that's not going to slow down. We expect to continue growing to 500, 1,000, 2,000. We really want to become a household name, but something that people talk about, something that people recognize, something someone's parents can be proud of, that they've decided to go work at Oceans. As the company continues to grow, we want to become the brand that people most want to engage with, to open up opportunities for themselves and for their career.